We all have questions, but it's the answers that really matter.
My dad was a person of reliability, one that when he said something, you could depend on it.
I kind of experienced the two extremes of fatherhood as a child. I had a dad who was literally the best dad in the world for the first 10, almost 11 years of my life. A dad who would come home from work after a long, hectic day in the office and be willing to play ball with his son. And then when I was 11, he left our home and experienced the exact opposite, the sense of loss and abandonment. So there is a role model in each dynamic there.
My father was not an ideal role model. He was very difficult to live with, to be around. Actually, my father was an alcoholic, and he taught me what not to do.
My father moved out of the house when I was 5 years old. So he was in my life intermittently, but when I was with him, I always admired him. I was very impressed with the path that he chose for his life.
That's a lifelong thing. I think I'm still learning to be that man that I want to be. My father here on earth taught me a lot, but my Father in heaven will teach me even more.
You know, I think like everyone else, I struggle to learn to become a man. I'm sure I haven't become a man to my own standards, and certainly not to God's standards. But I think what's so powerful is we can learn from each other. It doesn't have to be from a father, it can be from a peer. And most importantly, we have an instruction manual in the Bible that helps shape us into becoming the men God wants us to be.
It's a process for me. I'm still learning. There's lots of opportunity for growth. I love fellowshipping with the Lord and following His path.
I have heard some of the other guys answer. I too have Peter Pan syndrome. And so growing up is something I have resisted. That's probably why I like hanging around with kids as much as I do. But I have learned from the men around me as they have stepped into that role, as they've grown and they've accepted responsibility and they've been a leader in their home. I've learned from those kinds of people in those situations, and I've wanted to, and I've aspired to be that type of person myself.
Well, when I'm stressed, I turn to maybe a couple of different places. Men in my life, and more importantly, I turn to the Lord.
Well, I think like a lot of men, it's easy just to turn inward, to shut down, to either think too much or not think enough about what's going on, and to let complacency get the better of me, to do nothing.
Well, I used to stuff my feelings. Now, with the closeness of the men in this church, I have someone to talk to confide in. And I find strength in the Lord through prayer.
Whew. Lots of places. I enjoy fun activities, so I do that. I sweat a lot. I go into my office and worry about the problem and fixate on it. I go for drives with my wife and we talk. I veg in front of the TV.